Welcome to our next episode of Beyond the Bar. We're super excited. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest here today who I can call a personal friend. And we actually went through the bar exam together. We went through law school at the same time. And it was really interesting, actually. We had amazing support. I want to introduce, please, Regina Narkolayeva. She's an arbitration attorney. And we have lots of interesting questions for you because you have so much in your life. You have so many things going on. You juggle so many aspects of life, including being a mom, being an attorney, being your own boss. And we're just going to dive in with a bunch of questions for you.
Sure.
Good. Welcome again, everybody. Regina, thank you. We just want to thank you for being with us today. Obviously we'll discuss a lot of range of different topics, but how about we start with what made you want to go to law school? Because I remember, just a quick background, Regina and I went to college together, right? We were in St. John's together.
Yeah.
And Regina afterwards went to go work for a company, and I think you, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to law school about 10 years later?
Yes, I did.
10 years later. So tell us what made you finally decide to take the leap and go to law school?
So basically, we went to school together. I was in legal studies. And then eventually I said, I want to go to law school right after college. I got pregnant. I got married. I didn't do well on my LSATs. I did not do well. I took many courses. It was just not an exam for me. I said, if this is what it is, I don't really want this. I mean, the truth is school does not teach you anything about the LSAT or even how to think that way. You know, you go to school, you learn about history, you learn about science, you learn about all these different topics, but they never really taught you of how to think just like the LSAT. So LSAT for me was one of the most challenging exams. I always say today, to this day, that the LSAT was even harder for me than the bar exam.
Wow.
So, yes, because bar exam, you get to learn, you get to know things, you're memorizing, and then you apply it. But the LSAT, it was just it was not enough time, it was not enough reading, so I didn't do well. And I said, you know what? I don't need this. I'm just gonna go work as a paralegal. I'm gonna be fine. That's it. And I went to work for a firm, and I grew really, really fast over there. And my dad and my mom said to me, okay, are you done? Are you done with this nonsense? Are you done crawling? Don't you want to fly? And I'm like, yeah, but I can't do this. Like, yes, you can. Why do you think that you can't? Do it again. That time was different. You had a different brain back then. You were pregnant. You had a baby brain. They gave me all the reasons as to why I didn't do well and I could do well now. So I said, you know what? My mom was like, I'll invest in your course. So if you take the course, just do it and just do it again. You'll be fine. So then I was like, Mom, there's no business in this right now. I see lawyers are getting fired and a lot of stuff is happening. They're like, no, don't let people discourage you. Don't let people's bad experiences steer you into the wrong direction. You're not them. You're not them. You're a lot better person. You're much more smarter. You're much more of a go-getter. You get everything you want. This is what you need to do. So I was like, okay. Then I was like, all right, I'm going to do this again. So I took testmasters.net at that time. Went to actually physically the course. I remember actually going into the course and I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
I remember that LSAT.
I can't. I'm like, what am I doing? This is not what I want to do. Why am I doing? I remember breathing and having this panic attack. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I was like, if I don't want to sit through this course, I can't imagine 4 years of whatever, 3 years of law school. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I did. I got a good score. And I started applying anywhere could apply me. And anywhere that couldn't accept my score. And I got in. I got into Toro. I got into Hofstra. And I was basically just said, this is time. And I also, at the same time, I already had 2 children. They were already, older. I was basically responsible for 2 children and my husband and being a wife, being a Baharian wife and cooking, cleaning and dealing with day-to-days and also saying I have to go and also working at the same time. And I basically just went in full head on and said, I'm going to do it and didn't look back.
I remember speaking to you while I was in law school, and I was like, Regina, you gotta do this. Regina, you gotta do this. You were like to me, one day, now's not the time, now's the time.
Yeah.
I remember many conversations we had within the 10 years, and I'm sure you do too, where I'm like, you gotta do it. You know, just do it. And if you don't want to practice, you don't have to practice. You could do something else.
Yeah.
I know, I remember when you called me, like, I'm going to law school. I'm like, wow. I'm like, finally, it's about time. And you were telling me, like, I'm going to be going part-time and doing a school full-time. So you went to Toro, you did the part-time program, I think 4 years, was it?
So it's funny, at that time, so that was another apprehension of mine. I was like, how am I going to, I need to work. I need to have my kids, take care of my children, and like be a mom. But at the same time, I need to go to law school. And that was another fear of mine. So I said, what can I do? Because I don't even think the 4-year program was going to satisfy, because I had to be there 4 days a week. It's at nighttime, basically. And when am I going to have time to study? I still have to work. So I'm working full time. Don't forget, I didn't like cut my hours. So I was like, this is not going to work. That's why I actually chose Toro, because at that time they were providing a 5-year program. And the 5-year program, they basically said this is for working moms. Like they were advertising it for that. So the 5-year program was like, basically said, it's a 5-year program and you could go to school like 3 times a week at your pace. And at the same time, if you want to accelerate, you can. So I said, you know what? I want to do this on my own pace. But unbeknownst, I actually completed it in 3.5 years, because I took winters and summers and I just packed it on. And then we had COVID. So COVID hit. As much as it was like a stress for everyone, this was a blessing for me, because at that time everyone was in a shutdown and we're doing it all from home. So I don't need to travel. So I used to actually travel 2.5 hours every single day, going to school from work and coming back every day. So like an hour and a half. It was a really big struggle, but I still did it. And during that time, the COVID time definitely helped with the schedule, like not traveling. But yeah, that was what I had to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging to do all those in juggling, though, at the same time, especially work and school can be definitely difficult, especially when those finals come around and you have to study.
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
So basically, finals was, I always tried to study and make myself prepared leading up to the final. I didn't kind of say like, all right, I have a final exam and now it's crunch time. I always tried to make sure that already leading up to the final, I'm already very well prepared. But obviously the day before the final, I'm studying like a maniac. Weekend before that, I'm studying like a maniac. And honestly, I had to like figure out a way to be able to juggle between a full-time job, which was located in Queens, traveling 2.5 hours. So basically 4 hours a day for just traveling, as well as dedicating myself to my children as much as I can be, and dealing with all the challenges of law school. And it's funny, I actually said to myself, like, all right, this is a fight. We're in a prepare of a fight mode. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna get it done because I'm ambitious and there's no excuses. I'm able, I'm capable, and I will do it. These are the words that I kept saying to myself, no matter how much I felt like I was crumbling. And also, mind you, I can't say I was old when I went to law school. I was in 30s, but you're not thinking and your brain doesn't operate the same way as when you are in your 20s, and before children. You're so occupied with your day to day. You're occupied with your children, and you're occupied with your just thoughts, and you can't get your thoughts together. So I was going through like ADHD of nonsense just for studying. And I remember saying to myself, like, I'm not like, I'm okay with just a B. It's perfectly fine. I'm okay. Whatever.
We just need to pass.
I just need to, like, whatever. At this point, like, I just got to get through this. And it's so funny. But knowing my personality and knowing that I am such a type A person and like, I have to do things to the perfection or it's not going to get done. I said, no, I'm going to do this. And I was getting A's. And my first finals, I can't say it was like the first one was like the torts was like a B+ and whatever. But then once I got the hang of things, once I understood how law school works and operated, I was just A all the way. And I I remember even my last one was like a breeze. I even got like Cali Awards and different
Wow.
and I couldn't believe it. And this is like working full time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you come to arbitration?
Arbitration.
How did you decide that this is what this kind of law that you wanted to do, or was it not the law that you initially wanted to do?
So it's funny because arbitration is why I went to law school. No. So let me just tell you, I was out of law school. I mean, out of undergrad, and I wanted a job in the law field. So it's kind of like you apply and you get accepted wherever you go. You don't even know what law they're doing, and you don't really know anything about it. And hopefully, a job is a job, and it's good. They accepted your resume, and you're getting hired. Your salary is right, and you're walking in, and you don't even realizing that you're in this world of no fault collections, basically. I didn't understand what it all meant. I was just doing work, and then I got really good at it. I see the clients I'm working, and my boss at that time saw my ambition. I remember they had like I was very like had multiple hats there. I remember because I always like won more challenges. So I started off in just settlements. And then there's like, no, she needs to be client relations. And no, she needs to be more in finance. No, she needs to learn this and she needs to learn that. So I started actually helping out multiple different departments and putting on different multiple hats over there. So I started really, really like diving into the world of no fault. And what I do particularly is no fault collections. I represent multiple different doctors who are not getting paid on their collections that they get from their car accident patients. And they're, billing their insurance companies and not getting paid and getting denied for multiple different reasons, just arbitrating on their denied claims. So that's what I've been doing for many, many years. And when you stick to one thing, you don't really want to like you're already so good at it. You're just saying to yourself, like, I could try other things. I can add on to different things, which I'm probably still considering. But this one niche kind of kept me so busy, and also with my mom life.
What would you find as being your biggest challenge with regards to working full time now as a lawyer? Because I feel like, and I'm sure you'll agree, as a lawyer, it's the responsibilities are much different than as a paralegal, right? You have much more on your plate, and much more in terms of not just the like you were saying, in terms of juggling different departments, but now you are telling people what to do.
And you are the boss.
Yeah. As opposed to people telling you what to do. So the trajectory has changed for sure. So how do you find it in terms of managing, work as a lawyer and as a mom and as a wife, as you say, it's a lot.
And how did you make that leap to become a business owner and, start out on your own?
I have to tell you, so I always had a personality of a businesswoman, and a manager and a bigger picture person. I was never like just this girl that followed instructions and behind a desk and whatever. I always kind of, even within my paralegal work, I always kind of like said, I always found like issues, and I would talk to the bosses and present new ideas and figure out ways to like build something, or, something bigger, or manage, or have like a team under me. That was always been who I was, like since I was forever ago. And I remember walking as a paralegal into my firm. The first thing I said to them, I was like they just gave me the job. They gave me the tour of the place, telling me this is what I'm going to be doing. And I said to me, I spoke to the manager. I was like, how do I become a manager here? They're like, what? I was like, I want your job. He goes like, take it easy there, buddy. You got, you know what I mean? Do this. I was like, okay. So then 6 months later, I'm already getting promoted. But I was always in that type of hustling mentality, saying that I'm not just doing the work in front of me. I will get this work in front of me. It will be the best, but I also want to have a business and a career. So when I came out of law school, I said, I remember there was job fairs and everything. I'm not going into any of them. I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to be actually running a law firm. And I know exactly how to do it because I was trained very well by being a manager, by knowing and being hands-on on a day-to-day scale of how to handle cases, and also on a just learning how to deal with personnel, how to hire, how to fire. And it's just one of those things where you're saying, I'm taking it on, and that, like, yes, the responsibility now falls on me. Like, but it's like everything else. Like, remember when you just get married, you walk into your house, you're saying, oh wow, now I have to be the one cooking and cleaning. It's not my mom anymore. Well, guess what? The same mentality falls on when you're having children. Like, now everyone passes the baby back to me. It's no longer, I can't just pass the baby and leave. So same thing with the business. You're walking in, you're saying, okay, I am the end all be all. I am the last person that's get to say here, and everyone comes to me now. So the same mentality kind of passed through, and I just kind of keep applying it. So if I am a mom, and I am a wife, and I am also a manager, and now I'm going to be a business owner. It's basically falls hand in hand. So I do enjoy it. I actually didn't want to do anything less than that. So as much as more I can become more of an entrepreneur and open up and do more challenges, I would love that. So I actually expanded. We expanded our practice to New Jersey. We're handling now New Jersey arbitrations as well. And as much as I said, oh my God, I have my hands full, I can't handle right now New York and whatever. Like, I was like, no, let me just add on New Jersey as well. So it doesn't matter, because now I want to expand into even more areas of different states if I can.
That's amazing. I would like just to add that my experience with you when I was a pharmacy owner, I had given you a lot of my claims regarding to arbitrate, and I got amazing results for those who need any kind of assistance, any providers, medical providers that do need arbitration assistance. You're great, and you get great results, and you do have an amazing following, amazing clientele. Tell us, what kind of clients do you mostly deal with?
So it's funny, the following, right? I remember, like, when I was in the other firm, that I was a paralegal in, and I was handling client relations. I already had, like, my own book of clientele that I was client relationing and dealing with their day-to-day, nonsense and all their complaints and issues, and seeing attorneys, and just on a paralegal level and managerial level too as well. But I remember leaving, and a lot of them called me, where are you going? Where are you going? We need to follow you. Wherever you're going, we want to go to that firm that you're going to be going in, so you can handle our accounts. And I'm like, that kind of resonated. And I said, wait a minute. If they're willing to follow me as a paralegal, I can do crazy things with these people and actually move on to becoming an attorney and actually handle them myself on all aspects, and not just like where I can have full control of their files. So I said, you know what? This is perfect. And I remember one of my big clients basically said, open up the firm. I got you. I will give you as much as business as possible. And I was like, great. So then, you just started working up one account, people. And then honestly, my entire business has been nothing but word of mouth. And it makes me feel great, because I really value that word of mouth. I really take that word of mouth to be very near and dear to me. So this is why I always try to be A+ to everybody, even where I know that it's kind of hurting me on my family and, oh, you're always on your phone. My kids tell me, or my husband's like, when am I going to have my wife back? It happens.
We've gotten those comments.
But I tend to, that's my personality, is where I say that, like, if I don't give it all, if one bad review is thousands of bad reviews, people remember the bad. A lot of times, they will forget about the good. And that's how, the mentality of people are these days. It's just, it is what it is. But I have to give my entire business and everything 110%, or else nothing. Or else I'm just not doing this. So, and I do this on every avenue. So I baby every account that I get near and dear. Like, I try to make sure that I respectfully treat it very like it's my baby.
Amazing.
So with that, do you, like you just said that, and I feel like we all have this problem, right? The mom guilt, and the kids want this, but I have this work to do, and I gotta deal with a client. Do you feel like there's like a cutoff period in terms of like, hey, I did everything I had to do at work. Now it's time at home. I got to deal with the kids. I got to, do what I got to do for home. Is there a cutoff period, or it's also like 24 hours?
So it's funny. I am, I have 24/7 mom guilt. Sometimes like, so I have 3 kids. I have 3 beautiful boys. 2 of them, which were, I had them in my 20s, and when I just got married. And the last one I just had literally 2 years ago. The first 2, I kind of basically handled on my own, meaning I had no nannies. They were in daycare. My mom helped, my sister helped. You know, it was kind of like really, really hands-on as much as I can. The last one is actually like I had to hire a nanny because it's almost impossible to handle all of that and a career and a business and everything. So when I remember I hired this nanny. She's great. Everything is good. But every single day I feel like, who's raising this child? Is it me or the nanny? And I felt my guilt every single day was like, I'm nauseous like about it, but there's nothing I can do. It's like, how do I divide myself? And my nanny recently actually just got very sick, you know, God bless her. I hope she gets only better. She was sick and she was out for like 2 weeks. And during this 2 weeks, actually, it was like a blessing and a curse in a sense on her side. I feel bad that she's feeling this way, but on my side, it's a blessing because I actually said, all right, I rolled up my sleeves to be with my son completely, to actually be on a day-to-day scale and also, you know, juggle work. And I did. I juggled both. But I felt so good. I felt like I satisfied an itch inside me. I felt like I felt like I wasn't there for him for like 2 years, you know what I mean? And I was like, now I really, like, I rolled up my sleeve with him. I was giving him baths. I was doing everything. And I said to myself, oh my God, I'm going to be there much more. So now I'm really trying to, the way I was able to juggle law school and a full-time job at that time, I have to be able to juggle my kids at the same level, at giving them 100% juggling. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to actually, this is where I'm like, my new mission now is.
So I know recently when you had your third child about 2 years ago, you went through a very difficult time. Do you want to share a little bit about that and how you managed to maneuver work and children and everything through that?
Yeah. So I had a very good pregnancy. And then towards the very end, I came into the hospital because I had a high blood pressure. And so they basically, you know, they had to induce me, get the baby out. It's fine. But I basically gave birth naturally. And then I started losing practically all the blood in my body. And that was basically due to the result of uterine atony. It's where your uterus basically fails to contract back all the blood. And I had to rush to get like basically emergency surgery. It was really traumatizing. And, you know, the doctors kind of told my mom and my husband at that time saying, there's like basically 30% chance that she's going to survive this. Like, it's really bad. So I was almost basically like not going to be here. And I remember coming out of this and I'm like, what just happened? Like, what just happened? The doctor's like, you lost all the blood in your body. We had to repump it all back in. And, you know, now we have to make sure your platelets are all matching and everything, you know. So I'm like all weak and tired. And I'm thinking to myself, and I was like, I was also thinking like, wait, what day of the week is this? I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. Isn't it payroll week?
Oh my God, of all things.
I was like, shit, I gotta do payroll. Like, this was my thought. My thought was ignoring what I am right now, ignoring that but worrying that my office and my business, something's not going well over there. I have to do payroll. So I actually sat down, logging in, like literally falling asleep while I'm like trying to do this payroll on my phone. And like literally like, and my husband's like, are you crazy? I'm like, shut up. I gotta get this done. And like, this was like how determined and how like dedicated I am to my career and to my just job and everything. And then I just didn't let me falling affect that. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow. They're here. The doctors will take care of it. Like,
I mean, near-death experience, to go through something so traumatic and to still consider your business.
Yeah, and people are like coming to visit me and talking and all these things. And I'm thinking to myself, guys, why are you making a big deal out of this? But this is how I do. I always prioritize all these other things first before myself, which is not a great thing. I don't want to advise that to people. This is where I'm actually now trying to say no more. I am putting myself first a little bit for my health reasons and just to be better for my clients, for my staff, for my children, for my husband, for everybody around me, because me being unhealthy is not good. And I remember hearing that from you. You're the one that said, Regina, start taking care of yourself. This is ridiculous. You cannot always just be this person. You have to also think about you first. And you remember you telling me that, and you're right. I am taking those words very, very seriously and putting my foot forward for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was actually listening to Mel Robbins. I love Mel Robbins. I find her very motivational and inspirational regarding behavioral health. And I was listening to her, something very interesting. She said today that there was an American Times study that said that after the age of 18, the amount of time that you spend with your children basically falls off a cliff. Wow. And after they turn 21, it flatlines. So it's really like crucial for so many moms to get that time in because it goes so fast. You have older boys too, and it just like went like super, super fast. You don't even know where it went. And also there was in that study, it also said that between the age of 40 and 60, almost most of our time is spent with our coworkers. So it's really crazy that, especially as you get older, you really just start spending time with people that you work and less time with people that you love. So for me, it was very eye-opening in that sense because it's true. Like, I'm in my 40s. I spend a lot of time at work. I see my coworkers probably more than I see my husband and my kids. And that time, I can't get it back. And it's just so eye-opening. How do you feel about your future and how much time you're going to be able to allocate to your kids now?
So I always think about future because I always say, like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to be doing better, trying to dedicate myself much more to my children and all that possible. But I'm also trying to emphasize a lot on their mental growth so that and for them to also be kind of like not just doing their own thing, but following what I'm doing and learning from me, and as well as being able to then apply it to their lives, but also like that will be like incorporating them into my careers. Not necessarily say like I would like them to all work in my job and we're going to be like, they can, I mean, that's fine. But I ultimately want them to actually follow my footsteps. And if I cannot, play with them and do things on their level, I want them then to come into my level. So at least bring them along with me on wherever I can. So, getting them involved more, getting them involved in different, if I do like a networking event or anything like that, I would say bring them onto my side. So that way, that would be a good tip to kind of say, all right, well, if you cannot really go on, on the carpet and read books, well, then maybe get them onto your lap and read a law book or, you know what I mean? Something like that.
You're
and explain to them right away. Because honestly, you have to.
Skip ABCs to the law.
You skip the ABCs. Go straight to the law books. Why not? I say like if the school didn't teach us how to be lawyers, or the parents will, or like the influencers will, or even business people. It's funny right now. My son is like talking about, Mom, I wanna open up I wanna open up a business. What do you want to do? I'm selling shirts. I want to sell shirts because I know how to design. He's an artist. He knows how to draw really, really well. I can even like share you in his Instagram. It's insane. Like he freehands. It's crazy. And now he wants to actually take it bigger. He wants to actually like start designing shirts and everything. And then yesterday he's like, Mom, I also want to get into cash advance. I was like, how about can you just pass high school? But he's already having that, and I'm so proud of that. I love hearing that. I love these. I like that they're going beyond whatever school has to offer.
Let me ask you this. I think we can all agree that the legal field is very fairly like male dominated, right?
Yeah.
And yes, you have women and more women coming in strides, and which I think is amazing. And most of the time we do work equally, right? Both men and women, whatever. Did you find any challenges opening up and running your own business as a woman in the legal area?
So
legal area you're in, because sorry to interrupt, I'm pretty sure if I know Norfolk arbitration, it's very male dominated.
Very.
That's why I'm asking that.
Very. So I was always afraid of being treated as like the little girl,
right? Or
being treated like she doesn't know anything and like. Or like, oh, she's the pretty girl or whatever it is, like something like that, like where I was always afraid of being treated less than what I actually can put to the table. But, sometimes if you're around wolves, you have to become the wolf.
Yeah.
And you cannot show them that you're anything less than that. You cannot show them that anyone is intimidating you. You cannot, like, for me, I start seeing rage when I see somebody's like trying to lower me or beneath or put me down or whatever. I go like, oh yeah. So I'm not necessarily going to play your game or put you down, but I will show you that you cannot put me down. I will, try to, show them how much I am smarter and how much I could prove you wrong and how much I can do a lot more than what you think I can. So don't let this fool you. Like I will.
So your action
you know what I
will
mean?
speak louder than your
Exactly.
words.
My actions are gonna definitely speak louder than my words for sure, and my persona and me being a female. So yes, I do sometimes walk into just a group of men. I've talked to doctors. I have to talk to this. And I'm worried that the end. Yeah, there are times where they're just brushing me off, or like in a networking event, they're like looking like, hey, you look so pretty, or some nonsense or whatever. And I'm like, and I'm just out for my target. Like, okay, who can I capture? Just eagle eye vision.
You're not just another pretty face.
No, like eagle eye fit.
I know exactly, the feeling, because I think we're all very like male dominated world, and we do have a lot of not to say it's all bad. We do have a lot of attorneys who respect us and work with us in the same field, and they are very understanding and everything, but sometimes I feel like there's like a boys club that you just can't penetrate.
Yes.
Or it's like they feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, they feel like we're trying to penetrate a boys club, but I don't feel like it should be like that. I feel like it doesn't matter, boys, girls, whatever, we're all in the same field. We should all be able to work together.
100%. And there was a time where I remember at like some party or whatever, wedding it was, I don't remember what it was, and I approached a client that was around other clients that I know of or whatever, and he just didn't even want to give me a time of day, as if like he felt embarrassed talking to a woman or something at that time. And then as if like, don't you have women to go talk to? Like, and I'm thinking to myself like you felt that. I felt that energy, and unfortunately, yes, you're gonna have to face certain of these type of challenges. But again, it shouldn't be knocking me down ever. It never does. As a matter of fact, it makes me stronger. I always think of new creative ways to kind of attack my opponent, or even bring on more new clients and and just learning. I would actually just digest and to see, like I said, follow whatever the other wolves are doing. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Become the wolf.
No, I really do admire your strength and your determination. And I know that you're also a woman of many, many talents. It's not only your children are talented, but so are you.
Thank you.
And I know that you had passion always for singing. Your father and your family come from a very musical family. The first time I ever saw you was on stage, and I was just taken aback by your Celine Dion performance. And tell us, singing has always been a passion. How do you incorporate that into your life? Because I do love it.
It's my marketing. I incorporate it to my marketing. I remember like one of my partner, he goes to me, you should just sing. He's like, you do a great job, just sing. So it's funny. I actually always sang since I was a baby. I like my mom was like telling me, when you were screaming, people just thought you were singing. Like you were just always, you had this vocals. They're like, she's going to be a singer. And I remember like being nauseous in the car. Mom was like, just sing. And singing was something like, I never went to school for it. Although I auditioned to LaGuardia, got in for vocal and LaGuardia for Performing Arts in high school. But that was not what taught me how to sing. I already knew how to sing already before that. And then, my uncle's on stage. My dad is on stage as well, all their lives. And he brought me along, and that was something I did for fun, for money as well too. Remember, it was a good hustle game at that time. And I captured a good audience. I used to actually be in all these singing competitions, and I did all that stuff. I wanted to actually make it bigger. Like I wanted to go and become the Celine Dion or whatever. And then I also realized with that comes its own issues. Like you can't really have a good family. There's no such thing as balancing work-life thing. It's going to be very difficult. There's a very high divorce rate. And on top of that, I was not about that life as well, as much as I wanted to always become famous and whatever, but I wanted fame for how I wanted it. Unfortunately, when you become famous, it's going to be how they decide for your fate to be, So I then, I just now, honestly, I said, I was like, I think me being a lawyer will be more successful in my mind. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do law school and go to law and be a lawyer. And at the same time, I will never stop singing, because guess what? I love doing it. And I'm not going to necessarily like make a money or career out of it, but I will actually just do it for fun. So I enjoy doing it for family and friends and performing and just, showing my talent. Not even showing, like I enjoy it. I actually don't see people when I sing. I don't care to show it off. It's more or less like what I do well, and it feels good when people can hear my voice and enjoy it as well.
And you
So,
do it very well.
amazing.
Yeah, I've heard her sing so many times, and every time it's just more beautiful and beautiful. And I've even, at your son's bar mitzvah, I was taken aback at their performance and their talent. You definitely come from a very talented family, so kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
So, no, after discussing everything with you today, right, and the trajectory you took in terms of like college and then working and then law school and then running a business, what's one piece of advice you would give to somebody like who's the next generation, right, coming in and we have always as women think, okay, family, do I get married, do I have kids, do I go to law school, do I go here, do I start a career first, what do I do? Is there any advice that you would say that like helped you that could help the next generation?
I have a lot of advice for the next generation.
We all do.
I have a lot of advice for the next generation, and I want to see the next generation become very, very strong, at least stronger than what they are today. I see a lot of things that are going on in the political world and all these different things. I don't even want to get into that, but particularly for everyone who's a go-getter, if you have a mission, if you have a goal to do something in your life, just do it. Stop finding all the excuses as to why it's not a good thing and why you shouldn't do it and what can go wrong with it. There's a million things that can go wrong. There's a million things of why you shouldn't, but there's also a million as to why you should. And at the same time, there's no such thing as you're not capable. God gave us everything for us to be able to do everything. I mean, he gave us a brain, he gave us hands, he gave us eyes. You name it, we have it. We have all the tools. We need to be able to learn how to use and apply them the right way and apply them for the better thing. And finding excuses for your life is not necessarily the way out. You have to always say, yes, I'm a mom and I have kids, and yes, or my husband's not supportive, or this one is bad and that. But when there's a will, there's a way. You'll find it. You'll figure it out. You will do it, because I did. I had to work full time as a manager, helping run a firm already at that time. I was managing a firm, and at the same time, raising 2 children at that time, and going to school full time. Part time, but I also then converted it to full time later on. And having to study for the bar exam. And all that stuff all combined together, it was very, very hard. It's not like easy. I made it look easy. I was still not giving up on social life. I went to weddings. I made it out for people. I was going to parties. I didn't say, all right, I didn't find excuses. Oh, I'm studying. I never found excuses for myself to say why I'm not going to show up for things. I always made it 100%. If I can, I will be there. Especially I remember a lot of people saying when they're notoriously late for things. Oh, I am but I have a kid. What do you expect? No, that's your excuse. If you really wanted to be here on time, you would have made it here on time. Period. If you have to be here at 9, clock your hours before. So that was my biggest advocacy for many people who always find excuses for themselves. And I say, there's no excuse. Your excuses are what you create out of it. So what you need to do is actually take all the excuses aside. Put your target, put your goal in, and go for it, and strive for that, and don't look back. And that's it. That's what you do.
That's amazing. That's definitely amazing advice, and especially now with with the influx of so many, especially in our community, young individuals who want to become attorneys, and they are having a hard time deciding what they want to do. Would you advise them to go into arbitrations? Do you think that it's a good field for them to explore?
It's a great field. It's definitely a niche. It's not something that's taught in law school. Mm-hmm. You're taught torts, you're taught different things. But what I wish I did more is also incorporate other avenues into the business. It's just for better growth. Right now, it's a matter also how much time you have to kind of learn newer things. That's another lesson I want to tell somebody. It's never too late to do anything. When I actually went to law school and I sat down in an evening class, I felt like I was the youngest one there. Everybody there was already in their 40s, and there was a second career, and they were doing it. I was in the evening person, so everyone's after work and everything, retired cops or just people that are changing, going to be a teacher, or their husbands told them that they're never good for a lawyer, and then they got a divorce and they came and become so many different stories that I heard that was so inspiring. And I was like, wow, I felt like I was going to be the only one coming back. I was like, I felt old. But no, I saw so many people there, and everyone did it. A lot of people then, like you, Margarita, you did it. I was blown away when your husband said to me that my wife is going to call you because she wants to be a lawyer. I was like,
you inspired me.
Isn't she? I'm like, isn't she a pharmacist? And he's like, wait. I'm not saying like pharmacy tech. I'm saying she's a pharmacist. She has like a 6-year long schooling that she did for a big career. Like, how do you? And I was like, that's like so opposite of being a lawyer. I was blown away. And then I thought it was just more like, maybe she's just, I don't know. I was like really, really blown away. And then I remember speaking to you, and you were really, really determined. And you were
you convinced me, actually.
You were so determined, and I was so proud. Like, I'm like, holy, I didn't expect this to be. I mean, listen, you come from also like, your husband, he's a big guy. He's a big career man. You have 4 children. I'm thinking to myself, like, you could also just choose an opportunity just to be a stay-home mom and take the time for yourself and travel and enjoy your life. But no, you said, I'm going to do a second career. And you did that. And I remember following your story with you. We were doing it together.
Yeah.
Taking the bar exam the same day.
I want to say that conversation, I'll remember exactly where I was, exactly at the moment that I called you, and you told me, and you said, you can totally do this. And I was like, really? I'm like, she's like, look, I have a job, I'm working. I said, because I was still, I had my pharmacy, I was the boss of that. And that conversation with you made me like flip 360. And I said, wow, you were so inspirational in that conversation. You said you guided me. You told me where to go, what to do. I personally want to thank you, because where I am here today is a lot because of you, because of that conversation that we had. I will never forget. I was in the pharmacy. I was on the phone with you in the Bronx, and I was like, wow, she's working. She has kids and small kids, and you're going to school and everything. And I said, wow, this is just so amazing. And I said, I have to do it. I have to try, at least for myself. And I did. Yeah. I listened to your advice. I took the test master's course, and I said, whatever. She's like, because she told me, like, whatever happens, happens. Yeah, just try.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. I have to really say thank you to you. And also, because you mentioned my husband, I want to say that you also had an amazing support system. Yeah. Your husband, I know him very well, and he always he was one of your biggest cheerleaders. He always said to you, you can totally do this. You can totally do this. And it's really so important also to have that behind you.
Yes. My husband, God bless him. I mean, I remember when I said I was going to go to law school. I'm like, Jacob, I'm going to law school. You know what he said? Okay. Go. I'm like, no, I'm going to law school. Okay. I'm like, he never even asked me, you going to continue working or what's going to happen or kids? No. Okay. I'm like, well, hold on. Let's talk about this for a second. Like, I was waiting for an argument. I was waiting for a fight. I was waiting for I was like, all right, well, maybe, you're going to be watching the kids at night. He's like, I'm sure we'll be fine, right? Like, no problem. Like, he basically said there was no hesitation. There was not once did he say, F this. I don't want you doing this. I don't need this. Never, ever, ever,
there
ever,
are
ever.
Men especially in our community who don't like
never
that.
Said that. And just completely supported me from the whole entire journey. And till this day, even in my career, again, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm also dealing with in a man's world. Never, not once, had, fear of that he's losing me, or that I am, something is happening in our marriage. He was always very confident, knowing that we have a strong marriage, we have a strong system in the house, and that we have a common goal, and that we understand each other, and he supports me. And that was a big one, because let me tell you something, and like you just said, there's a lot of men that don't. And if your husband's not one of them, you definitely have to have a sit down with him or figure that one out, because that one is a really, really strong, when you don't have a good support system on any front, parents and whoever, even his mom, and his mom definitely, helped us a lot. I mean, with picking up the children, and my mom and everybody kind of rolled up their sleeve. My siblings and everybody said, "All right, we're gonna be there for you. We're gonna." That's it.
Team effort.
Team effort. Everyone picked up the kids.
Yeah, it
takes a village. And I remember even studying for the bar exam. Bar exam was 7 days a week, and hours from 8 to 11. and sat down and said, I'm going to study until I'm blue in the face. And that's pretty much it. And didn't see the light of day. I remember it was my brother's birthday. He's inviting us. I was like, but I have to study. He's like, just 2 hours. Regina, I'm asking you to. I was like, but I have to study. But I still went. I went for an hour, paid my respects, and came back to studying. And I was hustling that bar prep. Like I said, I'm going to put it all in right now because I'm not going to do this twice. And I'm going to just do this once. And I'm going to put in 100%. And there's not going to be left anymore of me after this. This is it. We're done. And that's it. I said it was going to be one and done.
I feel like that's the only way.
I manifested one and done. I manifested the word one and done. And what I did was I also spoke to people that did not pass the exam the first time. I spoke to people that passed it on a second and third time to see what were their mistakes. I wanted to learn from people's mistakes. I didn't want to make those mistakes. So I actually somebody said, Regina, take 2,500 questions, answer them all, and read every answer explanation. That's all you need to be doing. And guess what? That's what took me over the curve. I took 2,500 questions, answered them all, and read all the answer explanations, and I did it like on a time crunch, and every single day did it on time. And that was what took me, or the second day is what actually took me over the hurdle.
Amazing inspiration. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
This was really, really informative. And we're going to put your information in the comments and the links. And if anybody has questions about arbitration work, or if they're looking for some kind of assistance with arbitration work, she's definitely the person to go to.
Hopefully in a couple of years we'll get you back and see, maybe by that time you already expanded into other ventures that you were looking into. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to being with us here today and speaking to us and, telling us your experiences and how you came about in, even though one thing I find very inspiring, regardless of how, regardless of how long it's going to take, 10 years later, you still got it to where you want it to be. So congratulations.